Roger Stone has been a major trend on Twitter all day because, for one, the Department of Justice was seeking 9 years in prison for his, in his charges for a sentence. And then Donald Trump called it a miscarriage. What do you call it specifically? It is a horrible and unfair situation. The real crimes were on the other side. As nothing happens to them, cannot allow this miscarriage of justice, he called it. I was curious if Donald Trump would actually intervene to help Roger Stone, considering, I don't want to say they're friends. I don't want to play any games, but considering, Roger Stone's a very pro-Trump guy and he's part of those circles. But I didn't think he would do it so soon. My assumption would be that Trump would absolutely pardon a ton of people the moment he gets reelected. I don't think he's going to let any of his faithful supporters rot in prison, especially when some of these charges are ridiculous. Like if you've been following stuff with Michael Flynn, it's absurd. Apparently, they argued that because he slightly said something kind of wrong, it was lying. And then we learned from his lawyers, whether it's true or not, the documents, their argument is they altered essentially what was said in notes later on so that they could claim he lied to them. It's absolutely ridiculous. And this is what I talk about when I warn people of a potential for civil war. When they're going after General Flynn, okay, you can see the chaos within our own government. That's scary. But now here's the breaking news. Donald Trump inadvertently, or maybe on purpose, but he passively intervened in this case. I mean, Trump runs the executive branch. He can pardon or commute sentences. He didn't. I think it would be bad for his reelection, but he's probably going to win regardless. But now here's the story. Department of Justice abandons call to jail Roger Stone for 9 years after Donald Trump slams demand as miscarriage of justice. The Daily Mail reports the DOJ is to walk away from its demand to jail Roger Stone for up to 9 years in a move announced Tuesday, hours after Donald Trump slammed it on Twitter as a miscarriage of justice. Leaders at the department, which is led by Attorney General Bill Barr, found it extreme and excessive and disproportionate to Stone's offenses, one official said. The walkback will inevitably be painted as designed to fall in line with Trump's demands. But one official told Fox News the decision had been made before Trump's Twitter rant. I believe it. I do. Listen, it's because of Trump's Twitter rant, but it's because they could predict it. Okay. I think there were some journalists. The original tweet was from Chuck Ross. The prosecutors recommend up to 9 years in prison for Roger Stone. They call foreign election interference a deadly adversary, even though Stone was never accused of working with Russians or WikiLeaks. Naturally, the DOJ probably knew when the story got out, it was going to get really bad and they were going to face political flack. They probably recognized the charges or the sentence was a bit excessive and decided to walk things back. And then Trump tweeted about it. They probably knew Trump would tweet about it because Trump does this. Now, I don't want to speculate. They're saying right now they made the decision beforehand. I have no evidence to suggest otherwise. I don't typically trust the government, but I'm not also going to pretend that Trump wouldn't just say, don't do this. Like if they really wanted to claim that Trump did it, they probably would. However, I do believe it's a bit fair to say there is a decent probabilities chance that Trump behind the scenes wiggled his finger and they said, we'll get on it. We'll see. Or at the very least, they knew Trump would do that and they said, don't make him angry because he can intervene. They say they did not explain why the reversal had not been announced until after the tweet. The DOJ has not said what sentence it will now seek. Veteran Dirty Trickster Stone is due to face sentencing by U.S. District Court Judge Amy Berman Jackson on February 20th after a jury in November found him guilty on 7 counts of lying to Congress, obstruction, and witness tampering. Trump had tweeted in the early hours of Tuesday morning, "This is a horrible and very unfair situation. The real crimes were on the other side, as nothing happens to them. Cannot allow this miscarriage of justice." Then they have a bunch of photos of, Roger Stone. Prosecutors will now have to ask the judge for permission to abandon their initial recommendation and submit a new one. She could refuse and can also ignore either recommendation in any case. Now, that bit of information says to me, I think Trump intervened. I think Trump deliberately intervened. If he tweeted about it, it's possible he was really angry behind the scenes. Some people heard and said, don't do this to Roger Stone. I'm not here to praise or defend Roger Stone, not at all. But, if they're going to legitimately argue the sentence is excessive, I'm not going to tell you, look, man, I'm not a legal expert. I just don't know. Quote, we look forward to reviewing the government supplemental filing, Stone's lawyer Grant Smith said in an email to Reuters. Stone is one of several people close to Trump who face charges stemming from then special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election, which was bunk, should never have happened, was based on false FISA warrants. And I got to say right now, you know what I'm kind of thinking? You don't got to like Roger Stone. In fact, I don't know a whole lot about the guy. But if this is why he's facing these charges, I'm sorry, man, the Mueller investigation was bunk. I get it. Regardless of why they did the investigation, if you commit the crimes after the fact, you're going to get in trouble. But I don't know, man. I really don't like the idea that a lot of people are in prison because of a fake investigation. The FISA warrants were bad. Trump has the power to pardon people for federal crimes, although he has yet to use it in the cases of other former aides convicted in the wake of the Mueller investigations. His tweet. So actually, let me stop. Like the Manafort stuff, like he was actually money laundering and like serious crimes going back a long time. That makes sense. But like getting someone for lying or obstruction or whatever for telling another person to plead the fifth, I think it's kind of scary considering that the investigation was bunk in the first place. His tweet hinted. Okay, copy editor guys. His tweet hinted he could use that power or his power to commute sentences if Stone were to get the level of custody demanded by prosecutors. That could be why they decided to reduce the amount before Trump tweeted, because they knew Trump would simply negate the whole thing. And if they want Stone to actually do prison time, it's got to be low enough to where Trump says, fine, Roger, it's going to be a year or two. If they go for 9, Trump's going to come out right away and be like, whoop, gone. So if they want something, they got to concede. Stone's own defense had asked for probation. During the trial, prosecutors pressed their case that Stone lied to lawmakers about his outreach to WikiLeaks, the website that disclosed many hacked Democratic emails ahead of the 2016 U.S. election that proved embarrassing to Trump's Democratic opponent Hillary Clinton to protect Trump from looking bad. Stone, who has labeled himself an agent provocateur and has the face of former President Richard Nixon tattooed on his back, wow, was charged with obstructing justice, witness tampering, and lying to the U.S. House of Representatives Intelligence Committee during its investigation into Russian election interference. Stone's colorful trial featured references to the film The Godfather Part 2, an impression of Bernie Sanders by prosecution witness Randy Credico, and testimony by political heavyweights, including former Trump campaign chief, Executive Steve Bannon, and former Trump deputy campaign chairman Rick Gates. Those witnesses said they believed Stone had inside information about when WikiLeaks might release more damaging emails about Clinton. In truth, he had no such information. Stone was also accused of tampering with Credico's testimony when Credico was summoned to testify before Congress and speak with the FBI. In emails and texts, Stone told Credico, among other things, prepare to die, you're a rat, a stoolie, and Stone wallet. Don't play games. Don't play games with the feds. And if people are bad at what they're doing, I don't know what to tell you, man. You plead the fifth, you call your lawyer, and this is what you're supposed to do. Man, Roger Stone has danced on the razor's edge. Do I think 9 years? Honestly, it worries me because we know the Mueller investigation was nonsense. That's what worries me. But there's a part of me that says, at what point do we say he did, try and tell this dude, prepare to die? Like, come on, man. So here's what they say. The 6 Trump associates to be convicted in the Mueller probe. And I'm just going to read you the Roger Stone one. They say convicted in November 2019 on 7 counts, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, lying to Congress about WikiLeaks, due for sentencing on February 20th and faces between 7 and 9 years. Stone was a person of interest to Mueller's investigation long before the January 2019 indictment, thanks in part to his public pronouncements, as well as internal emails about his contacts with WikiLeaks. And my understanding is the dude was lying. In campaign texts and emails, Stone communicated with associates about WikiLeaks following reports the organization had obtained a cache of Clinton-related emails. According to the federal indictment, Stone gave false and misleading testimony about his requests for information from WikiLeaks. He then pressured a witness, comedian Randy Credico, to take the Fifth Amendment rather than testify, and pressured him in a series of emails. Following a prolonged dispute over testimony, he called him a rat and threatened to take that dog away from you, in reference to Credico's therapy dog, Bianca. Stone warned him, let's get it on, prepare to die. And that's where Stone literally crossed the line. Now, I don't trust this whole system. Like, this is freaky stuff. Like with Flynn, you know what I mean? It just does. The FISA warrants being bad, that's scary. FISA abuse may undermine all of these cases. All right, but I will always concede when someone says something dumb and crosses the line. And a lot of people have done it. So that I can understand. They're trying now, I don't know where the line is drawn, but I'll leave it there. I'm willing to bet, regardless of what happens, Donald Trump is going to issue a bunch of pardons as soon as he can, but not before he's reelected. So if he gets reelected, expect it. Thanks for hanging out. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Podcast every day at 6:30 p.m. on all podcast platforms, and I will see you all there.